Today we are visiting Dinefwr Castle.
This is the sister of Draswyn Castle, sitting on a ridge 100 feet above the River Tywi. But unlike its sister, this castle sits on the remains of a much earlier castle built by Rhodri the Great in the 9th century.
Also unlike its sister, this was once the chief seat of the kingdom of Deheubarth.
The earliest parts of the castle we find here today are thought to have been built on the site of the former by Rhys ap Gruffydd at some point in the latter half of the 12th century.
When he died, the castle passed to his son, Rhys, but he had it dismantled to prevent it from falling into the hands of Hywel the Great of Gwynedd, who was extending his influence into the area, which Rhys was unable to resist.
Llywelyn had the castle restored and held it until his death in 1240.
In 1277, King Edward I of England captured the castle. In the 15th century, the castle was extensively rebuilt by Rhys ap Thomas, but in 1531 his grandson was executed for treason, with the castle being confiscated by the crown.
The family were later able to regain the castle and in 1660 turned the keep into a summer house, while the family moved into the newly built Newton House.
The castle is now owned by the Wildlife Trust of South and West Wales and is managed by Cadw.
There is a walk up here, which takes sort of 15-20 minutes. You might think, oh no, there's a walk up there, what am I going to do? But it's well worth it because the view up here is stunning. You don't get an image of scale very often. You don't get something that you can look at and go, wow, that's big. The fact that you're looking down on a landscape where you are able to see a river meandering through quite large fields and between quite big hills, it is really, really worth it. I'm really enjoying this one. I don't know whether you can tell. I don't know. Do I exude I'm enjoying myself or that I'm wearing a silly hat? I don't know. The light changes here every few minutes and it is just beautiful. It reveals the valley in a way that you didn't see a minute ago.
So, let me take you through what's actually here. We've got that pepper pot shaped building there, that's the keep. And then you've got that square building next to it, that is the chamber room where people slept. And then they've got that oblong bit there, that's the hall. Next to that, you've got a tower, that's the Northwest Tower, imaginatively named, but I suppose it means you don't have to learn lots of different terminology, as long as you know which way is north, east, west. And then of course you've got the inner court.
This section over here is the hall, the posh bit where people would have dined and entertained and all those posh things that posh people do. And there's not much of it left, really. There's just this back wall and a few little odds and sods in the way of foundations. But then this bit over here is the Northwest Tower. And that is a fantastic vantage point over which you can look out and see all of the various different stuff that's going on over there, so that you can keep an eye on your neighbours and prevent them really from creeping up on you and poking you with pointy things, which I'm pretty sure is how battle was done in those days. But it also gave you the opportunity to, chuck stuff off the top at them, which I'm fairly sure that's how you deterred people from coming anywhere near a castle. I think that's how it worked.
I'm standing in the keep and it's kind of this weird pepper pot type shape thing. Either that or a castle you get in a chess set. And the floor level must have been much lower because the door is kind of angled up and the fireplaces all are on weird heights, which suggests that there's kind of some of a floor missing unless they had ridiculously high fireplaces. It looks like, because I've just seen some shadows going past for the windows upstairs, that you can actually go to the top from the outside. There's nothing left floor-wise on the inside of it though. it is an interesting little space. So, what do you think?
I think it is well worth the walk up the hill. I know we go on about the views of an awful lot of places that we visit, but the views here are fantastic.
They are very good. There's only one other place I can think of that we've been to that beats it.
Where's that then?
The one in the estuary.
Oh, what, Kidwelly?
No.
Ogmore?
No.
Llandeilo. The castle itself is also quite interesting. It's very compact, and I quite like that. And it's built on a hill, and it's all very swashbuckling.
Well, I like the walk up through the woods, because the woods itself is quite pretty. And then you come past the outer ward, which is just a mound of earth, and just peeking over the top of that is the actual castle. And then you kind of get the tantalising glimpse of the surrounding views, which is just lovely. And then the higher you go, the more wow it gets, until you get to the top, where you're just like, actually, I need to be a bit lower, because it's slightly better down there, but it's still nice. It's the fact that we're also on a flight path, it would seem.
We do seem to be.
But they're all at eye level when you're standing at the top of the keep.
They're pretty low, or we're pretty high. One or the other.
Maybe both.
Yeah. This probably could do with one of those big red flashing lights on top, just to make sure that people don't fly into it.
I'm sure we would notice if a plane was lodged in the side of the building.
I think
they must have managed without.
Somebody would have said something.
Yeah. Well, we would have seen with our own eyes.
True. Anyway, I think that that is enough for us from here.
Yes.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm sure you must have done by now. I mean, you know.
But if you have subscribed and you would like to press something else, you've got that little bell that gives you notifications so you know when we're putting films out.
You can do that. Alternatively, you can also press the like button, which is, I understand it's a very popular thing. It's all hip and trendy and definitely what the kids are doing these days.
Apparently YouTube likes it, but I don't know why.
No, I have no idea either.
Apparently it's engagement.
It is. Anyway, that I think is it from us here, and we will be seeing you. No, you'll be seeing us next time.
See you next time.
TTFN.